A new body of research into the attitudes and views of Chinese Australians has revealed a high level of confidence in Australia's allies and strong support for Anthony Albanese. Among those with Chinese heritage, Australia ranks above all other countries in terms of the level of confidence they have in the ability to handle global relations and foreign affairs. For more on this, let's bring in the lead researcher, Dr. Jennifer Su from the Lowy Institute. Jennifer, thanks for your time. Yes, that number in terms of the confidence that Chinese Australians have in terms of our foreign policy was, over 70%, wasn't it?
Well, I think the overall confidence or trust in Australia to do the right thing in the world is very high. 3/4 of Chinese Australians believe that to be so, and that's also expressed in Chinese Australians' confidence in Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. So there's been increasing levels of sense of belonging to Australia, to the local community, and if we take this as a whole, also trust in Australia and confidence in the Australian Prime Minister.
I know you've done this report over a number of years now. How does it stack up with previous versions of the report? Has it improved?
So in terms of the statistics on sense of belonging, pride in Australian life and culture, and seeing Australia as a place to live, those figures have moved around in the last 3 years, but this latest survey's finding are positive, showing 92% of Chinese Australians think or believe that Australia is a good or very good place to live, and that's an all-time high in the last 3 years. And sense of belonging too is also very high this year. And then we've also, as I mentioned, in terms of trust and confidence in Australia and the current Prime Minister is also higher than it was than the previous year.
And just to give an insight as well into the view of regional leaders, Anthony Albanese well ahead of other world leaders, including the US president, and well ahead of the Chinese president.
So there's been, while there's been an increase in for the current Prime Minister, there's been a decrease in other areas, as you've noted. Confidence in Xi Jinping has declined in the latest findings. So I think on the whole, this brings a lot of positivity for Australia and Australian politician, i.e. the Prime Minister. But I think it also indicates that there are broader issues at play in these sentiments, in the sense that we have moved past COVID-19 or lockdowns. And so people's engagement, Chinese Australians' engagement with Australia and their local community, and through that, their sense of belonging and trust in Australia has grown over the last year.
And while Mr Albanese is at the head of that particular chart that we're showing our viewers now, Peter Dutton has got a bit of work to do when it comes to trying to reassure and win over members of the Chinese Australian community.
So we've asked Chinese Australians' sentiments towards opposition leader last year as well. In the last survey, it was Anthony Albanese who was then opposition leader, and he was at 44% in terms of Chinese Australians' confidence in him as opposition leader last year. So I think it's something that we've asked previously, and obviously this year the opposition leader is Peter Dutton.
Yeah, that's right. And were there any other interesting findings that you'd like to mention this afternoon? I did go through, it's a lengthy report, but quite a good snapshot of the mood and the outlook of a large percentage now. It's over 1 million, the number of Australians with Chinese heritage.
That's right. So 1.4 million people in Australia claim Chinese ancestry. That equates to 5.5% of the overall Australian population. And so these sentiments, we've asked a range of these questions over the last 3 years. And I think what's worthy of bearing in mind of the latest survey's finding is that positivity towards Australia has increased, but there's also a range of other issues that we've asked about Chinese Australians in terms of their media use and consumption news habits as well, that WeChat, some of your viewers may know, is a prominent and dominant social media platform for many of those with connection to China. So WeChat is very popular amongst many Chinese Australians, but it is just one of many of the social media platforms used by Chinese Australians. The highest or the most popular social media platform this year we found was YouTube, followed by Facebook, and then WeChat.
Well, Jennifer Sue from the Lowy Institute, great to get your insights and that research. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.